Hey everyone, this is part 2 of our Cosplay Posing for Your Environment series. As you might be able to tell, I don't know, we are in the Cityscape. We're actually in the Washington State Convention Center where SakuraCon is held. And we're going to show you how to stand out from tall, busy buildings, busy backgrounds, plain backgrounds that are so horrible like cement that seems to be very prevalent at cons, how to pose with water features, and a bunch of other actiony stuff that you can do in cityscapes. Okay, so as you can see, we are hanging out in front of a fountain. The first thing you need to think about when doing a fountain shoot, if you know you're gonna do one, is how wet are you willing to get your cosplay? If it's only the legs or something, then obviously your posing is going to be a little more limited than someone who's willing to get their cosplay fully wet and then change out of it right after the shoot. I mean, if you just want to stand in the fountain, the best thing to work with is like reflection types and more powerful-esque poses that apply to your cosplay, because otherwise it's just not as fun as like actually getting in it. If you're willing to get most of your cosplay wet, then that's when you can have the most fun. As you can see, you know, we have steps here in the fountain that not all fountains have. Most of them are just solid spaces that kind of look like a pool. But you could totally do something with sitting in it, you know, climbing it, something, have the water like cascade down your back like while sitting it. That would be really cool. Something like that. Something you can also do is like crouch down into the water. You don't have to like fully like just sit down like in a pool, because obviously fountains aren't as deep. But just crouching your legs and kind of like you're wading through it a little bit and stuff like that. If you want to splash, the best advice we can give is to not splash towards the camera. Obvious reason, you might get the camera wet, which most lenses can handle it, but it's probably not the best thing to do. Another reason is you will just completely block your face with the splashing. So if you want to make a powerful splash, action-y thing, what you want to do is you're going to have to crouch down into it. You can't just do it while standing. You're going to want to push your hand out and just push the water away. And it'll flow up like a big wave almost, but it's like sporadic. And it creates a really cool effect we think is like really powerful. But you can also still see your face and your cosplay, and you're not getting other things wet since you're throwing it away from yourself. Another thing you can do if you're like completely willing to just go all out is just lay in the water and float. We've done water shoots with a wig and without a wig. Obviously the wig has to be retired for the day or the weekend after you do that, because it is just stopping. But it does create this really cool effect with, you know, when you're wet, the hair flows out, and it's like magical and flowy, and it can be really soft and almost ethereal, I guess you could say, in a way. So if it's something that you're not as actiony, that could be something you could do. Another pose that Kevin and I are kind of obsessed with, because it's really powerful and we like doing it, is submerging, making your body flat typically, and doing the water about this high or just this high. You can kind of pick. We usually do right above the lips, and it's just a strong, powerful pose of just this part of your body. And it's just really, I don't know, it's really powerful to us, and it just cuts off. And if you smile with your eyes, it creates something really cool, and it's really simple, but you do have to get completely wet for it to work. Outdoor staircases are everywhere, obviously. They are not as grand as staircases you might find in, say, a hotel, so you can't get away with as much because it is cement and can be pretty boring. But you can do some interesting, more dynamic poses, like with your legs, and get some extreme stuff going on even when you're just sitting and there's a patterned sort of step thing going on behind you. First things first, if you are like, I think this is more female posing, and if you're looking down on the photographer and the photographer's shooting up on you, you definitely, and you're wearing a skirt or something that's a little more open, you probably want to do a closed leg pose. And that way, something dynamic where one leg is sort of extended and one leg is bent, and then it becomes something a little more, it's kind of fashiony a little bit. There's, an extremity coming out and then something more scrunched up. And that's something we like to do on staircases because you have the stair holding your leg up and helpful. If you're cosplaying as a guy or anything that's, with pants and you don't mind opening up the crotch area a little bit, Kevin and I like to do something we call the thug pose, and it's just something more like your legs are out, elbows on your knees, bent down kind of like this. It's really badass, and I really like it, for characters who got a little more badassery going on. The other one's a little more innocent style, like, don't look at my panties kind of stuff. And that's something you do have to be aware of on staircases because of the angle that you are coming at. Laying down on the staircase is obviously kind of self-explanatory. It does kind of hit your body in the right spot, so you are arching a little bit. It is a little more soft and feminine, a little submissive. So you want to keep that in mind if you're thinking about laying down on staircases. There's not much you can do, obviously. It's just going to be more of a soft, gentle, light posing. Something you want to think about is when you talk to the photographer, have them do different angles. So have them come from above, have them come down the staircase and shoot down on you. Have you come where Kevin's shooting me right now, off to the side. And that way you can get definitely more dynamic looks that way without having to really change your pose, because when you lay down, there's not too much you can do. But it is interesting to lay on a staircase. It does provide some interesting depth that just laying down on a flat surface can't give you. Something you can do if you have a long dress or a long train in the back is stand towards the top of the staircase and have the back of the dress cascade down nicely. You'll probably have to have a helper fix it all out. And you can either, do a twist kind of look or from behind, etc., etc. It really adds a lot of power to the long dress instead of just having it on a flat surface and having it just kind of pool or cascade behind you, because it truly shows the length of the dress, and we think it makes it really powerful and nice. Okay, so here we have this amazing cityscape background. It is a little busy though. So what you want to do when you are doing cityscape, busy backgrounds, etc., etc., is you want to be more powerful. You want to demand a presence in the shot because there's so much going on back here that you have to stand out. So what we like to do with people when we're doing wider shots and cityscape, busy stuff in the background is to add some action into it. And what that can include is faux running, or something that adds more flow to the person's cosplay. What that can be is a simple, if they have a jacket, which is great for Attack on Titan, is to kind of either throw the jacket out, and you will have to communicate with your photographer and count down. So on the count of 3, I'm going to move my hand. 1, 2, 3. And if you're doing something like that, you have to have a really strong, extended arm. You can't just be like, oh. No. It's got to be really powerful, and you want that jacket to be flung to the side. Another thing you can do is from a side shot is you can kind of flip the jacket behind you, and if the photographer catches it right, it could be caught right at this angle, and it looks really badass. It kind of looks like you're just whatever, and it's really cool and fun. Another thing you can do if you have an assistant like how I have Kevin, or if you have a friend on hand, is if you have something such as a dress or a scarf or something that can be flown hair, You can ask them what you ask them to do. I'll demonstrate it with my sweater sleeve. So you have the assistant hold it out. The photographer counts down 1, 2, 3, and lets it go. And what that does is it'll create it in motion, and it'll like stop, stop the thing. You can also do it yourself if you're wearing a dress. We've done it a couple of times where you hold the dress out. We count down to 3, you let go. It kind of looks like your dress is flinging out, and it is gorgeous. And especially if you're on a background like this, and if you don't have anything flowy, you can always do hair. And it's really powerful because it makes it look like you are moving or just something's going on. So I'm gonna talk about running really fast because I did mention it when I was up in front of the buildings, how to run on camera. We like doing it in cityscape areas because it is so busy and like alarming, and we like to do it for video game characters because a lot of modern video games are set into a cityscape type place. So when you run for a camera, you don't want to run like you would just run, because we as humans look silly when we run, especially when you're freezing it in a picture. So what we like to do is a really powerful run. And basically what that is you're kind of holding a pose for a second and then falling into it. And that gives your photographer like a split second to capture that. And then you kind of fall and then fix yourself and come back up. So we want to do, and make sure when you're posing your arms, your opposite leg and arm combo is doing this. We don't run with the same arm aligned with the same leg. So that's something to keep in mind, because I think in one of our pictures that ended up happening, and then we started laughing, but that's okay. So what you want to do is you're going to kind of pop up, hold a pose that I'm about to show you, and then fall. So if your photographer says, okay, 1, 2, 3, you're going to hold and fall like that. And basically, hopefully they'll catch it at the right moment when you're kind of extended and kind of leaning, and it looks like a really powerful, hard run that we can't get if we're just like that. So I'll show it one more time, and hopefully I'm translating and speaking of, and hopefully it translates on the camera well here. So you're gonna do is you're gonna pop up, lean forward, and go. So it's like that. And yeah, like I said, if the photographer catches it at the right time, it can be a really cool shot, and it's something we really like doing in a cityscape type environment. So just a little recap. We talked about how to work with fountains. If fountains are available in the city that the con is held, it's great to work with them. You will need to retire your cosplay for the rest of the evening, especially when you get it wet. But it's a great opportunity to work with water. It's really super fun. Let's talk about how to pose with cement things and how awful and boring they are. How to work with staircases, which can be interesting even though they're outside and they are cement as well. Posing more powerfully for cityscapes. Add motion, add flow. Even though you're probably in, like a pink wig and like a neon orange outfit or something, so you are going to stand out naturally, you still want to be, full-bodied and really, really demand your presence. We also talked about how to powerful fake run, which I really love doing, and I think you guys will too, because if you do get it at the right spot, it yields amazing results. We hope you learned something from this city-like video. We would like to make one posing for your environment indoors, because cons do happen inside and they do happen in hotels, but we'll have to see if we can get the location down for that one. If you have any questions about this video or you have suggestions for future videos, let us know in the comments below, and we hope you enjoyed it.